And we had Notre Dame, Penn State, went out to the wire. Notre Dame got the win by a field goal, man. I thought it was a great game, especially that second half. But what is your overall, I guess, thoughts on how the game went and Notre Dame getting the win?
I tweeted this last night, but Penn State had such an easy road to the national championship, and they fucked it up last night. And hats off to Notre Dame for getting the win. They came back. It turned into a hell of a football game. Look, dog, it was competitive. It was hard hitting. The coaching was pretty good. I think James Franklin gets a lot of shit, but you don't not want him at Penn State. I mean, they're competitive every year and just won 2 playoff games. There's a lot of things that you can look at that you can not like, but I love Notre Dame's heart coming back, getting the win. Penn State played their balls off. I have nothing really negative to say about the game other than what in the fuck is Drew Eiler doing? Like, that's the one play where I'm like, what, Drew, what? Number one, why are we calling that play in the first place? Like, let's just go play overtime. And then number two, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? So, that's the kind of shit that gets you beat, and it got him beat. And I don't know. I think they got to figure out the bracket. I don't think that the conference champions should have buys. I think that either figure out a way where no one has a bye or just put 16 in and have the top 2 get a bye. But number one, do you want a bye? And then number two, the conference champions should not be the ones that only get buys. So let's just that needs to go away. And then I don't know. Do you think they should reseed after the first round? I don't know the answer to that question, but I know that Penn State had a really easy, air quotes, in a tournament sense, path to get to the final where they, SMU and Boise, for all that they did this year and as good as they were, you would rather play SMU and Boise than fucking have like Texas's route where they got to play Arizona State and they got to go or Clemson, Arizona State, and now Ohio State has to play, the road that they're taking. Exactly. So, and if I'm Oregon, like if I'm looking at it outside the box here from a conference champion standpoint, Notre Dame doesn't have to play in a conference championship game. That helped them. And Penn State lost their conference championship game, and that helped them. So why, if you're a conference champion, wouldn't you want to kind of fuck that game up so you get a lower seed but an easier road? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of questions here, so we'll see what they do. I know they're going to 16 teams, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. No, I agree with you too. There be some flaws in the system. I don't know what the exact answer is, but I do think, we talked about it on the show, like Oregon playing Ohio State in the first round isn't that's not fair in terms of like your number one team all year long, undefeated, and you have to play Ohio State. That's your reward off the bat. Where you, like you said, Penn State's playing SMU, and it's like there has to be some sort of better system, and hopefully they'll kind of go into that. But nevertheless, Notre Dame definitely earned it. Notre Dame has been rolling ever since they took that bad loss to NIU, and they look like a legit team, man. They look like a legit team. And on the flip side tonight, we got Ohio State, Texas. I think it's gonna be a hell of a game. I made my prediction. I have Ohio State winning it. I want to hear from you. What's your prediction on tonight's game?
Well, I'm going to take Ohio State as well. I think Ohio State is just the Michigan game really pissed them off. I think they're better on defense than Texas is. And I think Quinn Ewers is just he's due for a bad game. He has bad plays, but he's due for a bad game. Look, Texas, their win against Arizona State was epic. Ohio State beat the bricks off of Oregon. But I just think Ohio State's there's something about that team. They're elite at the receiver position. They're hard to cover. I just think it's going to be a barn burner. I think it's going to be a great game. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes into overtime, but I'll take Ohio State to beat Texas. And then, that Ohio State-Notre Dame national championship has the potential to be a stinker, but also has the potential to be a really good, hard-nosed football game, depending on what Notre Dame team shows up and what Ohio State or Texas team shows up.
Hey, I got something. Listen, I'm a good friend with James Franklin. Been to many titty bars together. Good friend. Talked a lot football with him over the years. Good dude, right? I've known him for a long time.
Throwing him under the bus.
James will not deny it. But anyway,
I'm sure his wife will love that one.
Matt, he struggles in big games though, man.
He
And
does.
listen, that's a game that goes to the finals. And you got to give your team a shot to play for overtime. There's 30 seconds, dog. Don't throw a
Well, why
pick in
make
the
that
middle
call?
of the football field. That is a coaching, to me, that is a coaching error. Play the game to overtime. You have the ball. And I'm all for gung ho and go get it and all that, but it's a tie game to go to overtime, to go to the finals in year one of the 12-team playoff. And you know, we both agree they've had the easiest path. It was ridiculous path, and I think they would get blown out. I think either team gets blown out in the final, but you had a chance to get there, and that was a coaching blunder to not play for overtime when you have the football. And that's just another knock on James on beating a top 10 team. He just can't do it.
Just go back to the bracket right there real quick. Look at how shitty the bottom of the bracket is. Like, let's just be real. The top of the bracket is Texas, Tennessee, Ohio State, Oregon, like Arizona State and Clemson. The bottom of the bracket is Boise, SMU, a backup quarterback at Georgia, Penn State, and Notre Dame. Like, the bottom of the bracket that's a pretty easy road if you're a good team. Let me ask you, take Ohio State and put them down there. Are they in the final? Yes. Take Texas and put them down there where Penn State is. Are they in the final? Yes. Take Tennessee, sorry ass, and put them at the 6. Do you think they get by SMU and Boise? Yeah. You don't think Tennessee beats SMU?
Yeah, they beat all them. Here's the thing, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Oregon, take Oregon and put them at the 6th seed, and they're in the final. So, like, I just think that needs to be that there's something's awry here, and they'll figure it out, or they won't. College football notoriously fucks everything up when it comes to how they do this. So I'm not surprised by anything.
I'm on Wi-Fi. But are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. My fault. I'll look at the comments. So real quick, let's move to the next topic, though, man.
Hey, hold on, real quick. No, because I was cutting out. Hey, Matt, let me ask you this though. Going forward next year, if you're a committee member and you get to pick this how we do it, at this point, am I totally remiss to say, fuck the conference title games, fuck all that? Because if correct me if I'm wrong, they have basically said the regular season don't fucking matter. Strength of schedule don't fucking matter. So if that's the case, then fuck it. Then eliminate the conference title, and the loser of the conference championship game, you're not going to get in the playoff. And you just go 1 through 12. And just go 1 through 12, and you would have had a much better scenario than you would have this year. SMU would have been out. Clemson would have been out. South Carolina probably would have got in. And I'm just looking at this, and I'm going to keep saying it. Clemson lost to Georgia to start the year. They lost to South Carolina in their own state, another SEC team, by the way. So they're 0-2 versus SEC at this point. And then they lost to a third SEC team in Texas in the playoffs. Clear as day. You can say what you want. The SEC's down if you want to say that and all that.
Yeah,
but the bottom line is these teams didn't belong. These teams didn't belong in there. I wanted to see the best 12 teams. I don't know how you do that, Matt. I'm just saying. I want to see the best 12 teams.
Well, you're winning your conference has to mean something, but the consistency is my problem. I need everybody to play 9 games in their conference. Everybody needs to be in a conference, and there needs to be some consistency with the conferences on who gets seated where. And like, if a conference champion is not necessarily going to get a bye or a home game or whatever, they at least get in. If you win your conference in the NCAA tournament, you get into the tourney. You might be a 12 seed, but you get in. So we saw that with Clemson this year. So you deserve to get in if you win your conference. But they're going to go to 14 teams, and I'd imagine they'll go even higher than that as we go down because it's more money and people are going to watch and gamble on it. I do want the best teams, but you still have to keep it somewhat, the conference championship games have to mean something. Now, I don't know how they deal with the loser seems to have an easier road than the winner thing. I don't know how they deal with that. And I will say this, though.
What do you think?
Notre Dame doesn't fucking play in a conference, and they had a really, I'm not going to say easy schedule, but not a great schedule. And they're in the national championship. So, like, you got to really look at this. I hate to say it, but is it better to lose your conference championship game? They got to fix this part of it. Notre Dame, it's like they need to say to them, like, look, if you want to play in the tournament, you have to be in a conference. Like, how much of an advantage is it they don't have to play in a conference?
And I'm gonna be Smitty here and play devil's advocate.
Massive advantage for them, in my opinion.
If I'm Marcus Freeman, though, and I'm the head coach of Notre Dame in the finals, I'm defending my finals by saying this. Well, we were the 5th seed in this thing because we're not in a conference, and we automatically can do no better than the 5th. Yeah, they can do no better than the 5th seed.
That's true.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, like, they can't do better than the 5, right? Because
they can't get a bye.
So they're saying we can't get a bye, so we're going to play all the games anyway. So if I'm Marcus Freeman, that's my defense for my team being in the final. I'm going to say, well, either way, we can go undefeated every year, and we're only going to be a 5th seed. Yeah. So, like, that's the argument I would say if I was the head coach.
Great argument, too, Jamie. Great argument.
It's a horrible argument, but that's what I would use. Because I would have to defend my team.